excitement of a seller's market. Real estate is always changing. Today, I'm going to be telling you about certain risks that there are associated with a seller's market. So, the market that I'm in right now quickly transitioned into a seller's market. Not sure exactly what happened, but buyers started coming in from all over the place. Property values started going up. It's super exciting and people are pumped about this. Now, the buyers are not so much pumped about this because they feel as if they are not going to be able to get a good deal on a property anymore because property values are going up so fast. And I think it's going to continue to rise until they can't afford a property. So that being said, people are coming in from all over the place buying property, and there are a lot of risks associated. Please wait until the end of the video so I can go through all of these risks with you so you know exactly what you're getting into. Number one, the biggest risk is that you overpay for a property. Now, I've seen this happen over and over again in sellers markets where people are just so excited. There's so much hype going on. There's lineups outside of the properties and people are in bidding wars to try to get one of these properties. So what do? You try to pay more in order to earn the bid. Now, you might not like the house that much, but you may have sold yourself that this property is a must-have for you just because of the hype around it. So this is not a good thing to do. If you find yourself in this position, then I think you need to take a step back and think logically. So in other sellers markets, I've seen it where people have overpaid for a property way more than what the value of the property is. And then a couple of years later, when they have a divorce or a spouse passes or whatever changes might happen in your life, you might need to get a bigger property because you had kids, then you can't sell the property and you have no equity in the property for the money that you've put into it. Markets change from sellers markets to buyers markets to stable markets, and you have to just make sure that you're not paying too much for the property, because if you pay too much, you will not build any equity and you might as well rent for less. The second thing is making an unconditional offer on the property. I know a lot of real estate agents may push you to make an unconditional offer. A good one won't, unless you get a approval letter that states that you can make an unconditional offer. So the risk involved is that you go and make this offer, you put a $10,000 or $20,000 deposit, then all of a sudden the bank says, no, we will not finance this property. Next thing you're stuck with either having to come up with the cash or forfeiting your deposit and potentially getting sued. So if you put like $20,000 deposit on a property, you can get really screwed. I saw somebody the other day who made an unconditional offer with the advice from their real estate agent of $80,000. And what ended up happening out of that situation is the client could not get a mortgage. We didn't tell them, go ahead and make an unconditional offer. They just went ahead and did it. A lot of people get caught doing this and they lose their deposit. So this person's literally gonna lose $80,000. It's absolutely brutal. The next risk that I wanna talk about is not getting an inspection on a property. So all of these people are putting offers in on the property. You have to make yours stronger. One way to make your offer stronger is to have less conditions. And one of the conditions might be not having an inspection on the property. If you don't get an inspection on the property, then something may be wrong with the property and you're going to incur those costs in on the back end once you take possession of the property. So you want to take an inspector in on these properties. What I might do if I were you is go and take an initial look at the property, then book an appointment for a second look and take an inspector in with you if you want to make an offer unconditional. That way they can take a look at the property while you're in there and look for major issues only. The next thing is pretty common is you close on a property, you sell your house because you need the down payment from your house to buy this new property, and then the sellers refuse to leave or the tenants refuse to leave. I ran into this situation many years ago, and a seller refused to leave the property because he believed that his property value kept going up and that he was getting ripped off in this situation, even though he signed the contract at fair market value and got over list price. When it's a seller's market, there's so much hype, property values are going up, and sellers may feel slighted if property values are way higher when they close the transaction. So for example, if you make an offer on May 1st on a property, the possession date is September 1st. Okay, so you've got a few months in between. Let's say property value went up 10% in that short period of time, which is very possible and we've seen happen in many, many markets. Then the sellers on the possession date might say, well, my property is worth $100,000 more, and they may not want to leave that property and close on the transaction. In their mind, they may think, well, my house is worth more and I deserve the money, so I'm not going to leave the property and I'm going to try to sell it to somebody else. They can't do that, but it's a big pain in the ass for you if you run into that situation. Let's say you pay over list price. So you're in a bidding war, you offer $40,000 or $50,000 more than the list price, and you do not consult with your mortgage broker. It could be an absolute disaster. If you consult with your mortgage broker, it's fine. But if you do it and you don't consult with your mortgage broker, and then the bank says, no, the property is worth X, then you have to pay the difference in down payment. If you don't have the money, then you're fried. So make sure that the property value is correct based on what you're spending on the property. Call me about this if you have any questions. Because next, you underprice your home. Okay, you're not on the buying side now, you're on the selling side. So let's say you underprice your home because the realtor told you that you're going to create a massive bidding war by underpricing your home. And then all of a sudden you get no action. Now there's a history on the multiple listing service that your property was listed at a lower price. So that means other realtors in public will be able to see that you listed at that lower price. That means in your mind and in their mind, you may take that lowball offer. So then you might start getting lowballs on the property if you underprice it and it go into the bidding war like you were told. The opposite to that is that you overprice a property, and that could also be a disaster because you overprice a property, no one looks at the property, you think in your mind you're going to get the same action, you're probably not. So you overprice it and no one looks at your property. So it sits on the market for 200 days. That's another reason a person like myself who's always looking for a deal might come in and say, you know what, your house has been on the market for 200 days. You better give me a deal on it. And then I lowball those people trying to get a good deal. I guess the biggest risk when you are in a seller's market is that you are not doing your due diligence and you're working through excitement. So you're making decisions that you normally wouldn't make. You might not get an inspection. You might write an unconditional offer. You might overpay for a property. All of these things. So the biggest thing is that you need to ensure that you're making a good decision when you're buying property. It is the biggest investment that you're going to be making in your life. So make sure you just step back a little bit, take a deep breath, and make sure you're making a wise decision when you're doing this. Guys, if you like the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. I'm creating a lot of content around real estate, investing, finance, flipping houses, all kinds of fun stuff. I love real estate. Please give me a call if you have any mortgage related questions. And my number's below. Thanks.